The autumn wind whistled through Silverstream High's empty corridors as Sung Park adjusted his traditional cultural marking, a subtle design that traced the contours of his right cheek. His fingers brushed against the intricate pattern, a connection to generations of family history that meant more than just ink on skin. Principal Williams, a tall man with sharp eyes and a meticulously pressed suit, stood blocking the doorway of his office. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows behind him, creating an intimidating silhouette. "This marking is inappropriate for school regulations," he said, his voice crisp and calculated. Sung took a deep breath. He wasn't just defending a design, he was defending his heritage, his family's legacy. "This is part of my cultural identity," he responded, meeting the principal's gaze without flinching. The school hallway buzzed with whispers. Students peered around corners, sensing the tension building between the young student and the authoritative principal. Some looked curious, others nervous. What nobody knew was that Sung's marking wasn't just a traditional design. Hidden within, its intricate lines were microscopic quantum encodings, a secret passed down from his grandfather, a brilliant researcher who worked on classified communication technologies. "Remove it immediately," Principal Williams demanded, his fingers tapping, an unusual rhythm on his office desk. Something about his movement seemed almost mechanical. Sung noticed a strange metallic glint in the principal's eyes, something that flickered momentarily, like a digital reflection. Was that a trick of the light, or something more? Unbeknownst to everyone, a tiny surveillance drone no larger than a fly watched the entire interaction from a ventilation shaft. Its micro-lenses captured every subtle movement, transmitting data to an unknown location. "My family has maintained this tradition for generations," Sung explained, his voice calm but firm. "It represents our connection to our ancestral history, Principal." Williams's expression hardened. "School policy is clear, no external markings are permitted. This is your final warning." As they argued, a strange electromagnetic pulse briefly disrupted the school's lighting. For a split second, the hallway flickered, revealing shadowy outlines that didn't quite look human. Sung's grandfather had once told him stories about extraordinary technologies and hidden networks that operated beyond normal human perception. Those conversations now seemed less like fantastical tales and more like cryptic warnings. The principal's hand moved with unexpected precision, pressing a hidden communicator disguised as an ordinary pen. A quick encrypted message was sent, its content known only to a select few. "You have until tomorrow to comply," Principal Williams said, his tone leaving no room for negotiation. As Sung walked away, he felt a tingling sensation where his cultural marking rested. Something was different. Something was changing. Little did he know, this confrontation was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey that would unravel mysteries far beyond a simple school dispute. The hallways fluorescent. Lights continued to hum, casting long shadows that seemed to move with an intelligence of their own. Something was watching. Something was waiting. End of Part 1. Narrative engagement techniques used, mysterious atmospheric description, subtle hints of technological anomalies, unexplained phenomena, character-driven tension, potential sci-fi undertones, cultural identity. As a central theme. Mysterious background elements, tone characteristics, conversational yet intriguing, simple, accessible language, gradual build-up of suspense, human-centric perspective, hints of larger conspiracy, sci-fi elements, subtly introduced, quantum-encoded cultural marking, potential non-human surveillance, electromagnetic disturbances, unusual, technological hints. The soft glow of computer screens illuminated Jay Park's home office, a converted garage filled with an impressive array of communication equipment. His fingers danced across multiple keyboards, lines of code scrolling faster than most eyes could follow. Something wasn't right about Sung's school incident. Years of network engineering had given Jay an almost supernatural ability to detect digital irregularities. The school's communication patterns were strange. Encrypted messages zigzagged through networks, leaving ghost-like traces that most would miss. A half-empty coffee mug sat beside a photograph of his father, a mysterious researcher who'd always spoken in riddles about extraordinary technologies. Those childhood memories now felt like carefully planted clues. Suddenly, a complex encryption pattern caught his attention. The school's internal communications weren't just protected, they were deliberately designed to hide something significant. Firewall after firewall crumbled under Jay's expert digital manipulation. Strange coordinates began appearing, geographical markers that seemed to shift and change, creating impossible geographical intersections. One moment they pointed to a remote desert location, the next to an underwater research station. Sung's grandfather's old research journal, carefully preserved in a weathered leather case, contained cryptic notes about interstellar communication protocols and adaptive surveillance systems. What seemed like nonsense 20 years ago now looked frighteningly relevant. A hidden folder revealed bizarre surveillance logs, strange heat signatures, electromagnetic disturbances, communication patterns that didn't match any known human technological standard. Outside, something moved in the shadows. A reflection in the window caught Jay's eye, something mechanical, definitely not human, quickly disappearing behind a neighbor's fence. His communication equipment suddenly sparked, displaying a rapid sequence of quantum-encoded messages. Binary code transformed into complex geometric patterns that seemed to pulse with an almost living intelligence. "What are you hiding?" Jay whispered, his fingers racing across the keyboard. Another breakthrough. Principal Williams wasn't just an administrator. Digital footprints suggested connections to multiple top-secret research facilities, military-grade communication networks, classified research programs that officially didn't exist. Sung's cultural marking wasn't just a traditional design. Hidden quantum encoding suggested it was something more, a potential communication device or advanced technological interface. A holographic projection suddenly flickered to life, a three-dimensional map showing multiple global surveillance points, research stations, communication nodes. Something massive was happening, and it extended far beyond a simple school dispute. The phone rang. An unknown number. A distorted voice spoke. "Stop investigating." Jay smiled. In his world, being told to stop only meant he was getting closer to the truth. Electromagnetic pulses danced across his screens. Communication patterns from unknown origins began streaming. Complex, beautiful, terrifyingly advanced. Something was watching. Something was waiting. And Jay Park was going to find out exactly what narrative elements, technological mystery, cryptic investigation, potential alien surveillance, family legacy, advanced communication technologies, sci-fi undertones, quantum encoding, impossible communication networks, hidden technological interfaces, mysterious surveillance systems, engagement techniques, gradual revelation, technological suspense, character-driven investigation, hints of larger conspiracy. End of Part 2. The school's basement felt different that evening. Shadows seemed to move with an unnatural fluidity, and the old air conditioning system hummed a frequency that made the hair on the back of Sung's neck stand up. He had discovered his grandfather's hidden research materials tucked away in an old file cabinet, documents that looked like they belonged in a top-secret military facility rather than a school storage room. Thermal imaging devices, communication modules, and strange metallic fragments that seemed to pulse with an inner light. A small device, no larger than a USB drive, caught his attention. When he touched it, the entire room shifted. Holographic. Projections erupted around him, displaying complex star maps, communication networks that stretched beyond human understanding, and what appeared to be surveillance logs of something definitely not from Earth. His father's earlier digital investigations suddenly made perfect sense. This wasn't just about a school dispute. This was about something much larger. The surveillance equipment hidden throughout the school was unlike anything Sung had ever seen. Microscopic devices embedded in walls, disguised as ordinary electrical. Fixtures broadcasting signals to locations far beyond the school's physical boundaries. A strange mechanical sound echoed through the empty corridor. Something was moving, something that didn't sound entirely human. Sung's cultural marking began to react, the intricate design seemingly alive, responding to the electromagnetic signals surrounding him. The quantum encodings his grandfather had. Carefully integrated were more than just a family tradition. They were a sophisticated communication interface. Suddenly, a holographic projection revealed a star chart. Multiple observation points tracked across global locations. Research stations, communication nodes, a vast network of monitoring systems that extended far beyond human technological capabilities. The projection showed something else: adaptive surveillance systems designed to study human social structures, not just observe but actively analyze and potentially manipulate human interactions. Principal Williams wasn't just an administrator. He was part of a much larger system, a global network designed to monitor and potentially control human social development. A robotic drone, sleek and almost invisible, dropped from a ceiling panel. Its scanning mechanisms focused directly on Sung, analyzing every aspect of his biological and technological signature. Identification confirmed, a synthetic voice announced. Subject: generational communication interface. Sung realized his grandfather's work was more than just research. It was a sophisticated preparation for something much larger, a potential first contact scenario. The drone's mechanical arms extended, not as a threat, but almost like a form of communication. The quantum encodings in Sung's cultural marking began to pulse, creating a complex communication pattern. Information flooded Sung's consciousness. Glimpses of distant civilizations, communication protocols developed over millennia, a network of observers studying humanity's potential for adaptation and growth. Outside the school, something massive moved in the sky, a structure so large it could only be described as a mobile research station, not a spacecraft in the traditional sense, but a living, adaptive technological ecosystem. The drone's voice continued. Preliminary assessment. Human subject demonstrates advanced communication potential. Annual. Sung understood now. This wasn't an invasion. This was a test, a comprehensive study of human capability, resilience, and potential for interstellar communication. His grandfather hadn't just been a researcher. He had been preparing humanity for something extraordinary. The basement walls seemed to breathe with technological energy. Communication networks pulsed. Information flowed. Something was happening. Something incredible was about to begin. Narrative elements, technological mystery, potential alien observation, advanced communication interfaces, family legacy of scientific discovery, sci-fi highlights, quantum communication technologies, adaptive surveillance systems, holographic star mapping, robotic observation drones engagement techniques, gradual revelation, mysterious technological encounters, hints of larger cosmic narrative. End of Part 3. The city's night sky crackled with an unusual energy. Electromagnetic waves danced between buildings, creating invisible corridors of communication that most humans couldn't perceive. Sung stood on the school's rooftop, his cultural marking now fully activated. What was once a simple design now pulsed, with intricate quantum networks, revealing complex communication patterns that bridged human understanding and something far beyond. His father, Jay, had been working tirelessly, decoding the surveillance network's primary communication protocols. Sophisticated tracking systems that had monitored human interactions for decades were now being systematically dismantled. A sleek robotic drone hovered nearby, its scanning mechanisms attempting to analyze Sung's unique quantum signature. But something was different. The technology designed to observe was now being observed itself. Adaptive response detected, the drone's synthetic voice announced. Subject demonstrates unexpected communication capabilities. Sung understood now that his grandfather's research was more than just scientific exploration. It was a carefully designed preparation for potential first contact, a bridge between human potential and advanced technological civilizations. The school's hidden communication center began to reveal its secrets. Multiple surveillance modules, disguised as ordinary electrical systems, started malfunctioning. Encrypted data streams burst into complex holographic displays, revealing global monitoring networks. Principal Williams, watching from a hidden observation room, realized his carefully constructed monitoring system was collapsing. The human subjects he'd been studying were now turning the observation back onto the observers. Electromagnetic pulses ripped through the school's infrastructure. Security systems went offline. Communication networks transformed, revealing layers of hidden technological interfaces. A massive holographic projection erupted across the city's skyline. Star charts, communication protocols, and glimpses of distant civilizations. What was meant to be a secret study was now a public revelation. Jay's advanced communication technologies worked in perfect synchronization with Sung's quantum-encoded cultural marking. They weren't just resisting, they were communicating on a level never before understood. The robotic drone's mechanical arms extended, not as a threat, but as a potential communication interface. Its scanning mechanisms detected something unprecedented, a human subject capable of adaptive technological communication. Potential breakthrough identified, the drone announced. Human subject demonstrates advanced interstellar communication capabilities. Sung's grandfather's research journals, once considered mysterious ramblings, now appeared as carefully designed preparation documents. He had anticipated this moment, a potential bridge between human understanding and advanced technological civilizations. The school's basement, once a hidden surveillance center, transformed into a complex communication hub. Technological systems that were designed to monitor now became platforms for understanding. Holographic displays showed multiple observation points across the globe. What seemed like a localized school incident was actually part of a massive, global technological ecosystem designed to study human potential. Principal Williams watched in disbelief as his carefully constructed monitoring system collapsed. The human subjects he'd been studying were now turning the observation back onto the observers. Sung's cultural marking pulsed with an inner light, creating communication patterns that stretched beyond human technological understanding. It wasn't just a design, it was a sophisticated communication interface. A massive structure moved in the distant sky, not a traditional spacecraft, but an adaptive technological ecosystem. Research stations recalibrated, observation protocols transformed. The resistance wasn't about confrontation, it was about communication, understanding, potential. Something extraordinary was happening. Humanity was about to take its first real step into a larger, more complex technological universe. Narrative elements, technological resistance, advanced communication interfaces, global observation networks, potential first contact scenario sci-fi. Highlights: quantum communication technologies, adaptive robotic systems, holographic communication displays, interstellar observation networks. Engagement techniques, dynamic technological transformation, mysterious communication revelations, expanding narrative complexity. End of Part 4. The dawn broke with an extraordinary silence. The city's skyline shimmered with residual electromagnetic energy, a testament to the night's incredible events. Sung stood at the center of a transformed communication hub. What was once the school's basement now looked like an advanced research station. Holographic displays danced around him, revealing complex networks of interstellar communication protocols. His cultural marking had become more than just a design. It was now a living, breathing communication interface that bridged human potential. With technologies beyond current understanding, the massive observation structure hovering above the city began to change. Its metallic surfaces shifted, revealing intricate communication arrays that pulsed with an almost living intelligence. Final assessment initiated, a synthetic voice announced, but this time the tone was different, less mechanical, more curious. Jay's advanced communication systems worked in perfect harmony with Sung's quantum-encoded interface. They weren't just defending against observation, they were engaging in a dialogue that would reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Robotic drones that once monitored now hovered with a sense of something close to respect. Their scanning mechanisms detected something unprecedented, a human subject capable of adaptive, complex communication beyond any previous observation. Principal Williams watched from a secure observation point, his carefully constructed monitoring system completely dismantled. The human subjects he'd been studying had turned the entire scenario on its head. A holographic projection revealed the true nature of the observation. It wasn't an invasion. It wasn't a threat. It was a comprehensive evaluation of human potential. Our ability to adapt, communicate, and grow. Sung's grandfather's hidden research journals now made perfect sense. Each page was a carefully designed preparation for this moment, a bridge between human understanding and advanced technological civilizations. The city around them became a live communication network. Electromagnetic waves danced between buildings, creating invisible corridors of information exchange. What was once hidden was now brilliantly, beautifully exposed. Humanity demonstrates extraordinary adaptive capabilities, the synthetic voice continued. Communication protocols exceed previous mathematical projections. The massive observation structure began to transform. Its metallic surface rippled like liquid, revealing complex internal mechanisms that seemed to breathe with an almost organic intelligence. Sung understood now. This was never about control. It was about potential, about understanding. A series of complex communication patterns erupted from Sung's cultural marking. Star charts, communication protocols, glimpses of distant civilizations, all flowing through a single quantum-encoded interface. The robotic drones clustered around him, no longer as observers, but as participants in a dialogue that would reshape understanding of technological communication. Principal Williams approached, his previous authoritarian demeanor completely transformed. The man who once tried to suppress Sung's cultural identity now looked at him with a mixture of awe and understanding. "We were wrong," he said simply, "completely wrong." The city's technological infrastructure began to recalibrate. Communication. Networks expanded. Observation systems transformed into collaborative platforms. Holographic displays showed multiple global connection points. What seemed like a localized incident was actually a breakthrough in human technological communication. Sung's cultural marking pulsed with an inner light, a beacon of human potential, of cultural resilience, of our ability to communicate beyond traditional understanding. The observation structure began to integrate with Earth's communication networks, not as an invasion, but as a collaborative platform. An invitation. "Welcome," the synthetic voice announced. Communication protocols accepted. Humanity had passed the test, not through military might, not through technological superiority, but through our unique ability to communicate, to understand, to adapt. The dawn continued to break, but everything had changed. Narrative elements, technological breakthrough, cultural communication, global transformation, human potential exploration, sci-fi highlights, quantum communication interfaces, adaptive technological systems, interstellar. Communication networks, holographic information exchange engagement techniques, transformative narrative resolution, collaborative technological dialogue, celebration of human adaptability. End of Part 5, Final Epilogue.